WCW, and you're most well known for your first run in WCW when you start tagging with Johnny Ace, and you both gone a couple of tours in All Japan, which I hadn't realised that you went on. I know Johnny Ace was big in All Japan for quite a number of years, and what was it about Mrs. Baba that she just loved about Johnny?
Well, Johnny is, first of all, he's a very smart guy, right? And he was not raised in wrestling, right? He didn't come up in the business. He worked, I want to say, for Honeywell. Mm-hmm. So he had been in that corporate structure and how corporations work and all of that. And, when he would go to places like Japan, he knew that, like, there was Mrs. Baba, like, would fawn over him and stuff. And, by the time I'd gone over, that relationship was well acknowledged. But I'm sure there wasn't like anything, sexual or anything that. It was just, she, understand how the Japanese are. The Japanese are very proud people, very cultured. And he's working for Baba, but she just liked Johnny, right? She saw something in Johnny. Johnny has an amazing knack for being able to remember 20-minute spots. So in Japan, where they would come and typically give you a finish that was 2/3 of the match, Johnny could put that in there, go out there and regurgitate it exactly as given. And I think he found his niche that way in Japan. Baba, my experience, the first time I ever was Baba, I'd never met him prior to that. You could tell he carried himself extremely professionally, right? Just he was who he was. And at the last day of the tour, we're being paid. He told me, "You come back anytime." And so we had a couple more trips over there. It just popped in my head, different vein of the same story. Right before we went to Japan, they were figuring us into a lot of storylines. And we were going to be gone for 3 weeks. So we needed an explanation as to why the Dynamic Dudes were gone for this period of time. And, preceding the internet where people couldn't get, they're in Japan right now. So we did a angle, I think it was in Orlando, where the Kiwis, Rip Morgan and Jack Victory, Rip through a canteen to Jack, and Jack hits Johnny in the face with it. So we go back to the dressing room, and Johnny's like, trying to get his nose to blow out. We're in the shower later, and he's scrubbing. He's like really blowing hard. All of a sudden, his face goes, it blows out. And, oh my God, like something's wrong here. And he had broken a septum, and so all that air had gone into his face. And I think that affected the matches we had in Japan because he wasn't able to do. Oh God. That goes way back. 88, I think, was that first tour. They had to switch up some of the matches while we were over there because he had to let that thing heal.
That injury actually happened in UFC not too long ago, like Cowboy Cerrone. He did the same thing. He got punched in the nose, and the first thing he blew it, and then they had to stop it in 10 seconds.
It's freaky looking, isn't it?
Yeah, it happened. It happened like that as well.